The danger zone is the area anywhere outside of the bus where children are in the most danger of being hit, either by another vehicle or their own bus. The danger zones may extend as much as 30 feet from the front bumper, with the first 10 feet being the most dangerous, 10 feet from the left and right sides of the bus, and 10 feet behind the rear bumper of the school bus. Proper adjustment and use of all mirrors is vital to the safe operation of the school bus in order to observe the danger zone around the bus and look for students, traffic, and other objects in this area. You should always check each mirror before operating the school bus to obtain maximum viewing area. If necessary, have the mirrors adjusted. Outside left and right side flat mirrors. These mirrors are mounted to the left and right front corner of the bus at the side or front of the windshield. They are used to monitor traffic, check clearances and students on the sides and to the rear of the bus. There is a blind spot immediately below, in front of each mirror, and directly in the back of the rear bumper. The blind spot behind the bus extends 50 to 150 feet and could extend up to 400 feet depending on the length and the width of the bus. Ensure that the mirrors are properly adjusted so you can see 200 feet or 4 bus lengths behind the bus, along the sides of the bus, and the rear tires touching the ground. Outside left and right side convex mirrors. The convex mirrors are located below the outside flat mirrors. They are used to monitor the left and right sides at a wide angle. They provide a view of the traffic, clearances, and students at the side of the bus. These mirrors present a view of people and objects that does not accurately reflect their size and distance from the bus. You should position these mirrors to see the entire side of the bus up to the mirror mounts, the front of the rear tires touching the ground, and at least one traffic lane on either side of the bus. Outside left and right side crossover mirrors. These mirrors are mounted on both the left and right front corners of the bus. They are used to see the front bumper danger zone area directly in front of the bus that is not visible by direct vision, and to give a view the danger zone area to the left side and to the right side of the bus, including the service door and the front wheel area. The mirror presents a view of people and objects that does not accurately reflect their size and distance from the bus. The driver must ensure that these mirrors are properly adjusted. Ensure that the mirrors are properly adjusted so you can see the entire area of the front of the bus from the front bumper at ground level to a point where direct vision is possible. Direct vision and mirror view vision should overlap. The right and left front tires touching the ground. The area from the front of the bus to the service door. These mirrors, along with the convex and the flat mirror, should be viewed in a logical sequence to ensure that a child or an object is not in any of the danger zones. Overhead inside rear view mirror. This mirror is mounted directly above the windshield on the driver's side area of the bus. This mirror is used to monitor passenger activity inside the bus. It may provide limited visibility directly in back of the bus if the bus is equipped with a glass bottom rear emergency door. There is a blind spot area directly behind the driver's seat, as well as a large blind spot area that begins at the rear bumper and could extend up to 400 feet or more behind the bus. You must use the exterior side mirrors to monitor traffic that approaches and enters this area. You should position the mirrors to see the top of the rear window in the top of the mirror, and all of the students, including the heads of the students, right behind you. Loading and unloading. More students are killed while getting on and off of a school bus each year than are killed as passengers inside of a school bus. As a result, knowing what to do before, during, and after loading or unloading students is critical. Each school district establishes official routes and official school bus stops. All stops must be approved by the school district prior to making a stop. You should never change the location of a bus stop without written approval from the appropriate school district officials. You must use extreme caution when approaching a school bus stop. You are in a very demanding situation when entering these areas. It is critical that you understand and follow all state and local laws and regulations regarding approaching a school bus stop. This would involve the proper use of mirrors, alternating flashing lights, and when equipped, the movable stop signal arm and crossing control arm. When approaching the stop, you should approach cautiously at a slow rate of speed. Look for pedestrians, traffic, or other objects before, during, and after coming to a stop. Continuously check all mirrors. If the school bus is so equipped, activate alternating flashing amber warning lights at least 200 feet or approximately 5 to 10 seconds before the school bus or in accordance with state law. Turn on the right turn signal indicator about 100 to 300 feet or approximately 3 to 5 seconds before pulling over. Continuously check mirrors to monitor danger zones for students, traffic, or other objects. Move as far as possible to the right on the traveled portion of the roadway. When stopping, you should bring the school bus to a full stop with the front bumper at least 10 feet away from the students at the designated stop. This forces the student to walk to the bus so you have a better view of their movements. Place the transmission in park, or if there is no park, shift position in neutral and set the parking brake at each stop. Activate alternating red lights when traffic is safe distance from the school bus and ensure stop arm is extended. Make a final check to see all traffic has stopped before completely opening the door and signaling students to approach. Students should wait in a designated safe location for the bus, facing the bus as it approaches. Students should board the bus only when signaled by the driver. Monitor all mirrors continuously. Count the number of students at the bus stop and be sure all board the bus. If possible, know the names of the students at each stop. If there is a student missing, ask the students where that student is. Have the students board the bus slowly in a single file and use the handrail. The dome light should be on while loading in the dark. Wait until the students are seated and facing forward before moving the bus. Check all mirrors. Make certain no one is running to catch the bus. If you cannot account for a student outside, secure the bus, take the key, and check around and underneath the bus. When all students are accounted for, prepare to leave by closing the door, engaging the transmission, releasing the parking brake, turning off the alternating flashing red lights, turning on the left turn signal, checking all mirrors again, and allowing congested traffic to disperse. When it is safe, move the bus to enter traffic flow and continue the route. Students that must cross roadways should wait for the driver to signal, look for traffic in both directions before proceeding across the road. Upon your signal, students should cross far enough in front of the bus to be in your view. Crossing gate forces them to walk away from the bus. Cross the entire street and get on the bus. Prepare to leave the stop. When all students are accounted for, close the door, engage the transmission, release the parking brake, turn off the alternating red lights, turn on the left signal, allow congested traffic to disperse, check all mirrors again. When students are loading at the school, speed limit on school property is 5 miles per hour, 2 to 3 miles per hour in loading zones. Turn off the ignition switch, remove the key if leaving the driver's compartment, and position yourself to supervise loading as required or recommended by your state or local regulations. Unloading procedures on the route. Have the students remain seated until told to exit. Check all mirrors. Count the number of students while loading to confirm the location of all students before pulling away from the stop. Tell students to exit the bus and walk at least 10 feet away from the side of the bus to a position where the driver can plainly see all students. Check all mirrors again. Make sure no students are around or returning to the bus. If you cannot account for a student outside the bus, secure the bus, check around and underneath the bus. If you have missed a student's unloading stop, do not back up. Be sure to follow local procedures. You should understand what students should do when exiting a school bus and crossing the street in front of the school bus. In addition, the school bus driver should understand that students might not always do what they're supposed to do. If a student or students must cross the roadway, they should follow these procedures. Walk approximately 10 feet away from the side of the school bus to a position where you can see them. Walk to a location at least 10 feet in front of the right corner of the bumper, but still remaining away from the front of the school bus. Stop at the right edge of the roadway. You should be able to see the students' feet. When students reach the edge of the roadway, they should stop and look in all directions, making sure the roadway is clear and safe. Check to see if the red flashing lights on the bus are still flashing. Wait for your signal before crossing the roadway. Upon your signal, the student should cross far enough in front of the school bus to be in your view. Stop at the left edge of the school bus. Stop and look again for your signal to continue across the roadway. Look for traffic in both directions, making sure roadway is clear. Proceed across the roadway, continuing to look in all directions. When unloading at the school, you should follow these procedures. Perform a safe stop at a designated unloading area. Secure the bus by turning off the ignition switch and removing the key if leaving the driver's compartment. Have the students remain seated until told to exit. Position yourself to supervise unloading as required or recommended by your state or local regulations. Have students exit in an orderly fashion. Observe students as they step from the bus to see that they all move properly away from the unloading area. Walk through the bus and check for hiding or sleeping students and items left by students. Check all mirrors. Make certain no students are returning to the bus. Special dangers of loading and unloading. Always focus on students as they approach the bus and watch for any who disappear from sight. Students may drop an object near the bus during loading and unloading. Stopping to pick up an object or returning to pick up an object may cause a student to disappear from the driver's sight at a very dangerous moment. Students should be told to leave any dropped object and move to a point safely out of the danger zone and attempt to get the driver's attention to retrieve the object. Handrail hang-ups. Students have been injured or killed when clothing, accessory, or even parts of their body get caught in the handrail or door as they exit the bus. You should closely observe all students exiting the bus to confirm that they're in a safe zone prior to moving the bus. When your route or school activity trip is finished, you should conduct a post-trip inspection of the bus. You should walk through the bus and around the bus looking for the following: articles left on the bus, sleeping students, open windows and doors, mechanical or operational problems with the bus with special attention to items that are unique to school buses, such as the mirror systems, flashing warning lamps, and stop sign arms. You should also be looking for damage or vandalism. Any problems or special situations should be reported immediately to your supervisor or school authorities. An emergency situation can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It could be a crash, a stalled school bus on a railroad highway crossing, or in a high-speed intersection, an electrical fire in the engine compartment, a medical emergency to a student on the bus, etc. Knowing what to do in an emergency before, during, or after an evacuation can mean the difference between life and death. Determine need to evacuate bus. The first and most important consideration is for you to recognize the hazard. If time permits, school bus drivers should contact their dispatcher to explain the situation before making a decision to evacuate the school bus. As a general rule, student safety and control is best maintained by keeping students on the bus during an emergency and/or impending crisis situation if doing so does not expose them to unnecessary risk or injury. Remember, the decision to evacuate the bus must be a timely one. A decision to evacuate should include consideration of the following conditions. Is there a fire or danger of fire? Is there a smell of raw or leaked fuel? Is there a chance the bus could be hit by another vehicle? Is the bus in the path of a cited tornado or rising waters? Are there downed power lines? Would removing students expose them to speeding traffic, severe weather, and/or dangerous environments such as downed power lines? Would moving students complicate injuries such as neck and back injuries or fractures? Is there a hazardous spill involved? Sometimes it may be safer to remain on the bus and not come in contact with the material. Mandatory evacuations. The driver must evacuate the bus when the bus is on fire or there is a threat of a fire, the bus is stalled on or adjacent to a railroad highway crossing, the position of the bus may change and increase the danger, there is an imminent danger of collision, or there is a need to quickly evacuate because of a hazardous material spill. Evacuation procedures. Be prepared and plan ahead. Emergency evacuation procedures must be explained to students. Students should know how to operate emergency exits. Students should know the importance of listening and following instructions given by you. A safe place will be at least 100 feet off the road in the direction of oncoming traffic. Lead students upwind of the bus at least 300 feet if there is a risk from spilled hazardous materials. And dangle the radio microphone or telephone out the driver's window for later use. Walk through the bus to ensure no students remain on the bus, and account for all students and check for their safety. Railroad highway crossings. As you're approaching the crossing, slow down, including shifting to a lower gear in a manual transmission bus, and test your brakes. Activate hazard lights approximately 200 feet before the crossing. Make sure your intentions are known. Scan your surroundings and check for traffic behind you. Stay to the right of the roadway if possible. Choose an escape route in the event of a brake failure or problems behind you. Stop no closer than 15 feet and no further than 50 feet from the nearest rail, where you have the best view of the tracks. Set the parking brake. Turn off all radios and noisy equipment and silence the passengers. Open the service door and driver's window. Look and listen for approaching train. Check the crossing signals again before proceeding. At multiple track crossing, stop only before the first set of tracks. When you are sure no train is approaching on any track, proceed across all tracks until you have completely cleared them. Cross the tracks in a low gear. Do not change gears while crossing. And if the gate starts to come down after you started across, drive through it, even if it means you will break the gate. Special situations. If your bus stalls or is trapped on tracks, get everyone out and off the tracks immediately. Move everyone far from the bus at an angle, which is both away from tracks and toward the train. If a police officer is at the crossing, obey their directions. Plan your route so it provides maximum sight distance at highway rail grade crossings. Do not attempt to cross the tracks unless you can see far enough down the track to know for certain that no trains are approaching. If it won't fit, don't commit. Know the length of your bus and the size of the containment area at highway rail crossings on the school bus route, as well as any crossings you encounter in the course of a school activity trip. When approaching a crossing with a signal or stop sign on the opposite side, pay attention to the amount of room there. Be certain the bus has enough containment or storage area to completely clear the railroad tracks on the other side if there is a need to stop. As a general rule, add 15 feet to the length of the school bus to determine an acceptable amount of containment or storage area. Don't deal with on-bus problems with loading and unloading. In order to get students to and from school safely and on time, you need to be able to concentrate on the driving task. Loading and unloading requires all your concentration. Don't take your eyes off what's happening outside the bus. If there is a behavior problem on the bus, wait until the students unloaded or safely off the bus and have moved away. If necessary, pull the bus over to handle the problem. Handling serious problems. Follow your school's procedure. Stop the bus in a safe location. Secure the bus. Take the key with you. Stand up and speak respectfully to the offender or offenders. Never put a student off the bus except at a school or his or her designated bus stop. Anti-lock braking system. School bus will have a yellow anti-lock brake system malfunction lamp on the instrument panel. Anti-lock braking system helps you avoid wheel lockup and maintain control. Brake the same way regardless of whether you have anti-lock brakes or not. In an emergency braking, do not pump brakes. If anti-lock brakes is not working, you still have normal braking functions. Anti-lock brakes does not compensate for bad driving habits. Special safety considerations. Some school buses are equipped with roof-mounted white strobe lights. If your bus is so equipped, the overhead strobe light should be used when you have limited visibility. When you're driving in high winds, strong winds affect the handling of a school bus. The side of a school bus acts like a sail on a sailboat. Strong winds can push the school bus sideways. They can even move the school bus off the road or in extreme conditions, tip it over. If you're caught in strong winds, keep a strong grip on the steering wheel. Try to anticipate gusts. You should slow down to lessen the effects of the wind or pull off the road and wait. Contact your dispatcher to get more information how to proceed. A school bus can have a 3-foot tail swing. You need to check your mirrors before and during any turn movements to monitor tail swing. Backing a school bus is strongly discouraged. You should back your bus only when you have no other safe way to move the bus. You should never back a school bus when students are outside the bus. Backing is dangerous and increases your risk of a collision. If you must back up to a student pickup point, be sure to pick up students before backing and watch for latecomers at all times. Be sure that all students are in the bus before backing. If you must back up to a student drop-off point, be sure to unload students after backing. The following is the procedure for turning around in a cul-de-sac. Pull into the center of the cul-de-sac and stop. Turn the wheel all the way to the left and pull up to the curb. Put in reverse, turn the wheels all the way to the right and back into the center of the cul-de-sac or as far as needed. Turn to the left and pull out of the cul-de-sac. If you have no choice and you must back your bus, follow these procedures. Post a lookout. Signal for quiet on the bus. Constantly check all mirrors and rear windows. Back slowly and smoothly. Transporting students to and from school or activities on a rural route should not exceed 40 miles per hour. Transporting students to and from school or activities on Dwight D. Eisenhower systems of interstate and defense highways should not exceed 55 miles per hour. Once you have received your permit, please contact Kathleen Shear to complete your application with Fulton County School Transportation.